Veena Nobel Endowment lecture. I welcome Professor T. Bharati to come on to the dais to preside over. I'm very happy to invite today's speaker, Professor Alladi, Professor of English and an eminent translator, to come on to the dais. My hearty welcome to Professor Peter from Hyderabad Central University, Professor Sharada from SV University, and the scholars and the students from SV University, and of course our scholars and students from our department and the other members from the Mahila University. I now request Professor Bharati to conduct the proceedings.
A very good morning. We will start the program with the university song. Please. Professor Alladi, today's speaker, Professor Veena, head of the department, Professor Sharada from the SP University, and faculty from Telugu department, and my own colleagues, and students from SP University and Mahila University and scholars. A very good morning to you all. I purposely kept Professor Peter last because when I informed one of my colleagues in this university from Home Science Department that he is visiting, he talked to me about 5 minutes about their school days. And in that 5 minutes, more than 5 times she said, Manchabbai Sridhar, Manchabbai Sridhar, Manchabbai Sridhar. So I wanted to specially acknowledge Mancha Vice Reader, Professor Sumakiran. Of course, as seniors, English staff are always with us, very supportive. Always, we can approach them anytime for anything. Thank you very much for being with us. We have gathered here for Professor Veena Nobel's lecture. I quote, "Discretion will watch over you, understanding will guard you." I endorse that this is fulfilled in her life. Let us thank God for granting her eternal bliss, and also thank God for making her family to gather every year in this special occasion. May God be kind to her family. We thank her family for that. Because this is a platform, every year we meet and we hear new voices. Yes, Professor Alladi, my acquaintance is very limited, but she always proves to be a source of strength in any event or in any situation to those around. Yes, truly a source of strength and support she voluntarily and willingly extends. I think I also received the support on 2 or 3 occasions. Thank you, madam. Telugu writers, especially Telugu writers, ever be grateful to Professor Alladi for her contribution. Writers should always remember her with appreciation and gratitude for introducing them to the English readers. With these few words, now I invite Professor Veena, the head of the department.
I am here to introduce Professor Veena Nobel, who had left an indelible impression on the university as the administrator. And in fact, I deem it an honor to introduce Professor Veena Nobel on this occasion. She was an excellent academician with 36 years of experience, an inspiring teacher, an able administrator, and above all, a very good human being. And she is very close to our heart. She is always remembered for her cheerful and sportive nature and dignified demeanor. She worked in the Department of English, Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam from 1998 to 2011, and also served the university as a Vice Chancellor from 2004 to 2006. During her tenure as a Vice Chancellor, Professor Veena could bring out phenomenal changes in the administration and had left her own mark in the university. Her contributions to Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam as the Vice Chancellor are simply irreproachable. It's quite evident when we look at the progress of the university, and I just want to spell out some of the very significant things that happened during her tenure as a Vice Chancellor of this university. Started 7 schools in place of 2, courses got doubled from 29 to 57, strength of the students increased from 1200 to 2900, digitalized the library with internet and InflibNet, manifold increase in student supportive services, introduced Earn While You Learn scheme, Fulbright scholars visited the campus, MOU with prestigious institutions, prestigious international conference on women's universities, Better Future Leader project of Netherlands and Young Life project Oxford were undertaken. Special attention was bestowed upon research activities, resulting in the award of a record number of 69 PhDs during her tenure. University and industry interface was encouraged. There was 30% of increase in the infrastructure. 30 important dignitaries visited the campus. All India ball badminton tournament was organized. 23rd Inter-University South Zone Youth Festival was conducted, in which students from 70 universities of South India participated. So there are many more to be mentioned, but for want of time, I have cited only a very few things. And we have been organizing this endowment lecture instituted in memory of Professor Veena by her beloved daughters, Ms. Shireen Noble Nasir and Hepkiba Zedde, since December 2018, the month in which Professor Veena took charge as the Vice Chancellor of this university. And every year we are organizing this event by inviting eminent literary personalities for the benefit of the students. The first lecture was given by Shireen herself, the youngest daughter of Professor Veena, on the topic Women as Leaders. And the second lecture was given by Professor Mohanji Ramnan, retired Professor of English from HCU, on Reflections on Conservative Literary Imagination in 2019. Third lecture was given by Professor N. Nagaraju, Vice Chancellor of Barampur University, on Voicing Nature, Relation with Nature and Possibilities of Restitution in 2020. Fourth lecture was given by Professor Nataraj Pulia from University of Bangalore on Indian Dalit literature and African American literature, a comparative view. And of course, the last two lectures were arranged during COVID, during pandemic, and they were delivered through online, through Zoom platform. And this time, Professor Alladi is kind enough to grace this occasion, and thank you very much, Madam, for being with us today. And we are looking forward to listening to the fifth Veena Nobel Endowment lecture to be delivered by Professor Alladi. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nirmala. A warm welcome to Professor Veena, a madam dependable in the campus. That's how I always address her. And other colleagues from Social Work Department, and who has become very recently, has become our former colleague. Till April, she was our colleague, now a former colleague, Sheila Surupurani. A warm welcome to you all. Now I invite the former student of HCU, Professor Padmarani, who is a professor now in our department.
The distinguished guests on the day, of the day, and the most valued members of the audience. It's indeed a pleasure to introduce one of my favorite teachers at the University of Hyderabad in the presence of my present students and in the presence of one of my former teachers, Professor Sridhar, and in the presence of some of my colleagues in the university today. Given a free hand, I get anecdotal and it can go on endlessly. So to prevent that, I'll just read out a brief note I have made on Professor Alladi, the speaker of today's endowment lecture. On completing the task of drafting the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee, said in 1949, I quote, "I was more than surprised when the drafting committee elected me to be its chairman. There were in the drafting committee men bigger, better, and more competent than myself, such as my friend Sir Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer." Unquote. Sir Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, who played a major role in shaping the course of the history of modern India, was regarded as a bigger, better, and more competent person than himself by no less a person than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Sitting to the left of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in this image is Sir Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, the legendary legal icon. And sitting in front of you on the dais, left to Professor T. Bharati here, is the granddaughter and the daughter of his son, the once Chief Justice of AP High Court, Sri Alladi Kuppuswamy. It feels as if the Department of English, Sri Padmavati Mahila Viswavidyalayam, is making a tryst with history in having Professor Alladi Uma as the speaker of today's endowment lecture. I am sure Professor Veena Nobel will rejoice from above that her very competent and meritorious junior at Osmania University in MA is giving the endowment lecture instituted by her dear daughter in her memory. Professor Alladi Uma did her BSc and MA at Osmania University. She received her PhD from the State University of New York at Buffalo. After a brief stint of teaching at Wabash College, United States, she returned to India. Her first teaching assignment was in the Department of English at Sri Padmavati Mahila University, where she started the English department. She moved on to Osmania University and then University of Hyderabad, from where she took voluntary retirement in 2011. She has been involved with her family trust, the Alladi Memorial Trust, which works for the medical, legal, and educational needs of the disadvantaged. Her areas of interest include women's literature, Indian literature, African American literature, Dalit literature, and translation. She has published extensively and has guided many research scholars in these areas. She has served the university in various capacities, including the head of the department and the chief Prof. She has been on the jury of Bhasha Samman Award. She was the recipient of the Senior Fulbright Fellowship at Yale University, the United States of America. She has been translating for more than 25 years with M. Sridhar, who is amidst us today, from Telugu to English. Their most recent translations are How Are You Veg by Jupaki Subhadra, Asprusya Ganga and Other Stories by Kolapuluri Ina, Need a Bit of Freedom by K. Sivareddy, and Telugu, The Best Stories of Our Time, edited by Volga. For their contribution to translation, they have been awarded the Rentala Memorial Award and the Malati Pramoda Award. Through their English translations, they have rendered greater visibility to Telugu literature at the national and international level. Professor Alladi Uma is not given to flaunting either her family lineage or her own rich educational, academic, and literary achievements. Thanks to Google, I gathered all the information about her through Google. As a student, I didn't know all this about her. She is known for her humility, amiability, and concern for her students. That she was the most sought-after research guide in the department at HCU stands as a testimony to her exceptional human qualities as much as to her scholarship. Professionally, Professor Alladi Uma is known for her outspokenness, integrity, and commitment. It is indeed a privilege for the department to have such an accomplished scholar and translator at today's endowment lecture. I cannot, leave the stage without saying at least two things about two trivia about Professor Uma and Professor Sridhar. I have about 250 plus contacts on my phone. The only two contacts who do not own a smartphone are these two. And this is the secret behind, the amount of translations they are able to produce. I believe that. And the second thing is, these are the only two members of the faculty in the universities who have taken voluntary retirement. Among the people I have known, I have never seen any university faculty taking voluntary retirement. So these two things, I couldn't refrain from sharing. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Padmarani. Now I invite Professor Umani.
Professor Nirmala, Professor Bharti, should I say Professor Hari Padmarani, and friends. There are too many friends and colleagues here, therefore I shall not name them. But to all my friends here who have taken the trouble of coming here, I particularly want to mention Uma here, because Uma and I joined the department at the same time. There was another Uma, unfortunately, she's no longer with us. We were three Umas at that time. And students, whom I miss very much. That's one part of my university life that I miss being with students, learning from students. I've learned a lot in my life from students, and that's something I miss. I interact now with a younger crowd, and I learn a lot from them too. I'm really deeply touched about being asked to come and give this endowment lecture. You've had very, very distinguished people, and Hari Padma has already named those distinguished people. Giving you lectures on various topics. I feel I have no justification to be there in that list of distinguished people. But I feel two justifications. One is my association with Padmavati Mahila University itself, a university that gave me my first job in India and gave me the opportunity to develop a department. I was here for one academic year alone. I would have loved to be here for a longer time, but there were family pressures. My father was sick. I had to go back to Hyderabad and to Osmania University, which was also my alma mater. I studied there. My BSc, my MA was from Osmania University. So I moved my alma mater, but I didn't very much like going from here, but I had to. And when I also remember SC University very fondly, because when we started the department, so we were 4 selected, there were only 3 in the department, and therefore we had to rely on senior colleagues and colleagues in the SC University who helped us out. I should also remember here the dynamic vice chancellor who started this university, Professor Vanaja Iyengar. I was a little disturbed when I went to the site and I found photographs of everybody, but not of Professor Vanaja Iyengar. I know that she did not care for her name. She only knew what she wanted to do. I'm sure Uma will agree with me that she gave us a lot of freedom to do what we wanted to do. She wanted this to be an outstanding university. And I thank her and the first principal who gave us. We had our differences, but we also had our own agreements with her. And so we were a team. We were a team. We did not have the spacious campus that you have. We did not have this digitalization that you have. We did not have the comfort of this hall that you have. We were in a small building lent to us by the Polytechnic College. We stayed there, but we did a lot. To achieve something, you don't need comfort all the time. Sometimes comfort makes us feel, as if there's nothing more to do. We just lie down on a sofa and keep up mobile, smartphones, whatever we want. But we were in that department. I know how hard. In those days, for social work, we used to go to slums. Even the English department people went along with them. I remember going to various slums. We adopted villages. I'm sure you're doing much more now, but we were a very small group. We shared the same staff room. We did not have separate staff rooms. I was trying to find out who among my friends I still call them my friends, were there. And I was able to track down Jyoti, who retired just a few months ago, and spoke to her, and she said, maybe Bhavani from journalism and Uma may be the only ones who are there from whom you know, because time and tide doesn't wait for no woman, okay? And so it doesn't wait for us, so and we have to move on, but we have good memories. The other reason is that I knew Professor Veena Nobel. We were from the same university. To me, she was Veena. So she was my senior, and she was also an Americanist. So we had many occasions to interact. So when Hari Padma asked me repeatedly, she doesn't give up, she is very stubborn, and stubbornness is good, because that's a good trait of a researcher also, because you never give up. So she kept asking me, and last year I said, I'm not very comfortable with this modern things like online teaching and all that. I like to see people. I like to interact with people. I like to be with people and therefore I've come. So my just